Okay, so, all right, okay, so the first thing is you're going to look at these things right here, okay? And what do all, oops, I'm sorry, I don't want the 10 there. So sorry, guys.
That's a A-okay.
Okay, that's great. What do all of them have in common?
That and
X.
They have an X, what else?
And they're multiples
A
of
2. Okay, so basically, my greatest common factor in this case is 2x. So you're going to put that out here. I'm going to be left with the 2x.
squared. 8x minus 3.
Okay, and that's factored. There we go. We're, that's all the further that you can go.
Can't you do the AC method right there?
They won't work
Why not?
because there are no factors of -6 that add up to 8.
Oh, shoot.
Okay? All right, so this is all the further that you would go. And so you're just going to look to see what goes in each of them. Okay? The second type of factoring is going to be something called grouping.
We did that. Okay.
Yes, we have. This occurs when you have 4 terms. Okay? For example, 3x cubed minus x squared. Okay? This would be grouping means you take the first 2 terms, okay, and you ask yourself, hey, what do they have in common? An x squared. So you put the x squared out here, and what am I left with?
3x minus 1.
Okay. What do these 2 have in common?
4.
4. You can divide. And now, here's a clue. If this first term is negative, you need to factor out a -4. And so what's -12 divided by -4?
3.
So you're left with 3x, and if I take a -4 out of a +4,
Plus 1.
it's -1.
Okay.
Now, when you do grouping, it's important to note that this and this parenthesis are the same.
Supposed to be the same.
Yes. So then what you do is you factor out this whole parenthesis, this whole parenthesis, so you end up with 3x minus 1, and then left over, you have x squared minus 4. Shoot, didn't mean to do that, but that's all right.
Easy.
Okay? All right, the last way is you're going to have a trinomial. Okay? And we're going to use what's called the AC method. Okay? The AC stands for certain numbers. Okay? And this has to do with quadratics. A quadratic in general is written like this. Okay? A, B, and C, they are numbers. Okay? They're just numbers. Okay. And there's 2 situations. A can equal 1, or A can be bigger than 1. We're going to do an example where A equals 1. If A equals 1, then it just looks like this. There's no number in front of the x squared, okay? An example of that is going to be something like this. It'd be just something like that, okay? And when it looks like this, the way to solve it is you say, what is factors of C that add up to make B? So 2 numbers that multiply to make -24, and when you add those 2 numbers, you get -2. Now, if you know the answer, let's not shout it out super quick, okay? Give people think time, all right? Think of 2 numbers that multiply to make 24. All right, fine, go ahead, Kyle.
4 and -6.
All right. 4 and -6 are my magic numbers because 4 times -6 gives me -24, and 4 plus negative 6 gives me negative 2. All right, because
So small.
there's no number in front, I get to just do this. X plus 4, x minus 6. And I've totally factored that, okay? This one gets a little bit longer, so I'm gonna do it on the next page. Wait a second here. Okay. Okay. Okay, am I good?
Wait a second.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Pause the video.
Okay, this is, and no, I didn't actually. Okay, in this case, A is bigger than 1, okay? All right, that will look something like this.
I can't wait, Miss Christie.
Okay,
Chicken biscuits.
12x squared minus 49x plus 4, okay? We're in front 1. So in this case, we need to look for factors of A times C. What does A times C equal? What's 12 times 4? Yes.
48.
Oh,
48.
there you go. Sorry about that.
48.
Yes, this is 48. And what does B equal?
Negative 49.
Okay, so I need for you to think of two numbers that when you multiply them, you get 48, and when you add them, you get negative 49. Go ahead, John. I think we got this one. We got negative 48 and negative 1. There we go. All right.
How?
Because those two, okay, thank you. Now, okay, at this point, last year, I think I taught people that you make little fractions and then you go from there.
Yeah.
Okay, what I decided to do was a lot of people multiply using this box.
I like the box more.
Okay, now then you might like this. All right, so then the easiest way to form the factors, you just can't write x minus 48, x minus 1, because I've got a 12 there. Okay, so what you do is you take the very first term and you put it in the first box, 12x
Oh,
squared.
You like divide it out almost.
Yep, and you put the 4 in the lower right corner because it's the last one. These two have to add up to the negative 49. Well, that's these two right there. So it's a negative 48x.
Doesn't matter which one.
No,
you put
that's a good question, and it does not matter. You can just put a 1x there. It doesn't matter if you put the negative 1 here or the negative 48 there.
Then this is how you find the equation.
Yep, these are how you find your two factors. Now,
Supposed to be negative 1x?
yes, that's a negative 1x. It's just because, I mean, you could just put negative x if you want, but I put negative 1. All right, now, take a look at these two.
Oh, you got
What do
so
these
much.
two have in common? Nothing. But since there's a negative there, we're going to say they have a negative 1 in common, and that's it. Look at these two numbers. What do they have in common?
12.
And
4.
and an x. Okay? Now, going up this way, what do these two have in common? Just an x, and that's it.
Then negative 4.
And then these two have a negative 4. Now, why do you think I didn't, how come I wrote a negative 4 instead of just a positive 4? That, yes, and because this times this, yes, that's right. It's kind of like the reverse box method. Exactly. This is one of my factors, and this one is the other. So now I have x minus 4, and I have 12x minus 1. And I have factored that equation. Okay? All right. So now